Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Cameray, and you're watching Cameray Music TV, and I'm back with the Queen Sugar reviews. So glad this show is back. Season 5, episode 1. Stuff has been crazy in Texas. If you are a Texas resident, if you live in Texas, visiting Texas, passing through Texas, got family through Texas, I'm praying for y'all. Please continue praying for us. We've been having these rolling blackouts. Well, first, let me just start from the top, right? The weather, we've had this winter storm hit Houston this weekend, Sunday night. More like Saturday night into Sunday, maybe like Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, right? And so that was my husband and I's anniversary, so I'm like, should we still go out? But a lot of the places weren't allowing us to cancel our reservations. Went ahead and went out, woke up the next morning, everything covered in snow. We're 30 miles away from home. It took us about 2 hours to get home. From then, so that was Monday, President's Day, up until now, Wednesday, people have either had no power, no water, or no heat, or either one, a combination of those, or none at all, right? I have a friend who did not have power from Sunday night and just got power back today. We also were hit with, we had no water for a little bit. Then we had no power last night, right after the show went off, and then into today. So it's just been crazy. Please continue praying, because even those who have gotten their water and power back, pipes have burst and now their homes are flooded. So there's just a lot going on down here, and it just seems like, when is this stuff gonna end? I mean, you got a pandemic, you got the White House mess going on, you got natural disasters that occur, you got this whole stuff with virtual learning and how different things are coming with that. There's just a lot going on with 2020's evil sister. I mean, we thought that they was going, 2020 was so bad that it was like 2021 got to be better, but it's just not starting off that great. But anyway, we're going to try to stay optimistic. Y'all didn't even tell me my little braid was sticking out right here. We're going to try to stay optimistic, and we are going to get into our review. So, you guys know that I love this show because it is just so beautifully shot. It has like some good content. Like, sometimes you have to watch it a couple times to fully get it, because if you're live tweeting and taking notes, like, it's a lot to try to get. Like, so many different things are happening within these 42 minutes, right? So, we open up with Nova, and she's praying to the ancestors, and she's got her long dreads, and she's very dramatic, got these us-looking scissors, and she's cutting her dreads off. I saw somebody on Twitter say that they were faux locks, but I really thought in real life Rutina Wesley had locks, but maybe she don't. But anyway, she's cutting these dreads off. She's like, new me, new year, new me. You guys know that we could not stand Nova last season because she wrote this book that was a full expose of everybody's secrets in her family. I mean, every little secret. While she felt like she was cleansing herself, she told everybody's business in the process. And so everybody pretty much has forgiven her. The book did end up doing some good because it opened up a lot of wounds and showed Nova like who she really was. And I've seen that she's gained a little weight, but it looks good on her. Like, has this happy weight, right? She's cut her hair off, and so people are trying to come around to forgiving her. The only person that's not fully around is Ralph Angel, okay? We see Ralph Angel, and he's outside reading a book. And Blue comes out with the fresh morning breath with his cute little self, definitely growing up though. And he's, mocking Star Wars. And we see Darla's in bed, and Blue done made her some burnt toast. And I'm like, okay. Y'all know we really wanted Rarla to be back together, because Ralph Angel had started playing all them little games when he had old girl around. He seemed like he liked her, but she was a rebound. And then, Darla was entertaining somebody. Y'all, what is going on up here? Anyway, yeah, so it just seemed like they was playing around, and then she clearly still loved him, but then he never used his words, and then the reasons why he didn't like her, that he wasn't open with her, but it just did not seem like right to me, right? I'm like, okay, it's one thing to be completely over her, completely done, like everything's been said, everything's been worked through, but he just was not doing that. So that's the reason we wanted them back together so bad, is because it's like, clearly when she was trying, clearly like you had so much fault as well. And so he's realized that. He's saying all these real things, and I'm just like, child, who is this? Who is this? So I love them together, obviously, but the whole time I'm like, okay, what you gonna do? You gonna put a ring on it? Because what's the situationship? But, you know, my question gets answered by the end of the episode. Hollywood and Vi are still together and thriving. They're in the kitchen making pies for this event. By the end of the show, it is to celebrate Saint Josephine, who the city is named after, who is a black woman. So they're making pies for that. But Hollywood, you know, they are so in love all the time. They go on and get it on up in the restaurant. Okay, so here's one big day of the episode, but also one of the turning points, because as soon as we're happy, there go Parker looming in the back of the courthouse, right? So they decide the verdict in Francis's case. Remember, at the end of the last season, the last episode, Francis, actually the Boudreaux family had some information. I can't even remember the older dude's name, but he had been involved with Vi before and brought her this information, and that information helped to take Francis down. It was like emails where she had conspired to get the mill lit on fire, right? And so this serves as enough evidence, and so they're in the courthouse, and I'm just shocked at the audacity of Francis, who first of all had the fresh sew-in, the 20-inch, had the feathered bang. I was like, okay, somebody got you together for your court appearance. But Francis was very pompous. She was not humble at all. Like, she had so much to say, and I was like, girl, did she think that the judge was skin folk? Because I couldn't for the life of me figure out how you, as the defendant, like, you're stewing, you just have so, I mean, she just was so sure that nothing was going to happen to her, and she gets 7 years. And so I can't say that I was a little shocked, because I'm like, that family got so much stuff going on in the background that I thought for sure that judge was going to be in her right pocket, in her back pocket. But anyway, Parker sees that, and I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, she sees that and she ends up leaving. She's kind of staring off at him, doing this stare thing. Yeah. But I'm just like, Parker, I don't trust you, Parker Campbell. Okay, so just like I said, Ralph Angel's been happy with Darla and Blue and stuff, and something always happens where we get to see Ralph Angel pissed off, okay? He gets this note at the door from some courier, right? And I'm like, what is the news now? Because I can't remember. Did we find out that Blue wasn't hit? I think we did find out Blue wasn't Ralph Angel's. And they were like, that's not going to change anything because he's been there from day one. But I just feel like I knew for sure, like, it's going to be something that is going to tear up him and Darla. Because we see them getting happy. We see them getting close. Like, it's too much smiling. But no, it was more of something that's affecting the sisters and like their whole family unit, right? So we don't find out right away what it is. He goes down to Nova's launch, and Nova is having she has like this new website, this digital media platform, kind of like what we doing here at Camera Music TV. But she has this platform where she's gonna advocate for different groups of people, different classes of people, different types of people, and well, obviously, you know, black people, but in certain different diasporas in different groups, right? And so she's having a launch for it. She asked him to come down. Darla's saying he needs to be the bigger person. Go ahead and go down there. And I'm like, he's probably only gonna go because he got this thing, you know, because he balls it up. He's mad. So when I see him walk in, I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, but I should have known, as the youngest, he's coming in with his news, like, forget what you got going on up in here, right? Because Ralph Angel is very much like temper tantrum-y. Like, just be like, people in on Twitter were trying to get me together because they were like, well, he's about to lose his job and his land. Like, I totally feel that. But Ralph Angel, he just handles news like so crazily. Like, he balls up the paper. He's trying to light it on fire later. And he's like, I'm gonna handle that. Like, it's just like a lot. Like, it's just a lot. Anyway, he goes down there and Nova has her friend there. It's nothing like friends from your past to try to humble you. You know, the one, he got the dimples pierced and he used to be selling with her back in the day. He like, I don't know how all this gonna help you out, because you living high life now. You far from the ward. Like, you're not about to help us. And you know, she's saying that this is gonna help her. It's gonna help elevate everything. And he's like, you're not good at keeping your personal separate from your business. I'm like, no, you're not reading her at her event. But he's right, she's not. But we're gonna see if she's able to do that and how this is gonna go. So she shows her video, her rollout of the whole thing, her pitch. And Ralph Angel busts in and he has Charlie and her in the back, and he shows them the little note. We still don't know what it is. So Charlie calls this council meeting in the middle of the night. Now this is where I kind of get confused. I don't know about all this government. I don't know about all this type of stuff. Okay, I guess I'll learn it through Queen Sugar. But she calls like this meeting. The people of the community come down. The board sits down, and you got this like Uncle Tom type of dude on the board. And I'm like, you know, usually dudes like this, the way that they write it in the scripts, they end up messing around with the person in power, right? Like Charlie gonna end up hooking up with him. I hope not. But he's very like, this is why I said not to do da 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 da. But this is where I get lost, okay? I know that last season they had, you know, Charlie was made mayor. I don't know if she's made mayor. She's definitely a councilwoman, but I don't know if she was made mayor. Anyway, she was voted in, right? And so they were trying not for this highway to be built through their town. Okay, and it really kind of gives you a sense of like community too, because as a military brat, like I don't really take no stake in like community like that. Like I obviously have my hometown where my grandparents are and like my church family and certain landmarks there, but it don't really hit as hard. Like I'm not really truly super invested into like the infrastructure there and like tourism and like things like that, right? And so they're talking about building this highway and putting all the farmers, like killing the farms and putting all them out of business. And yeah, so they're like voting on that. And you know, Charlie's saying she's been trying. The guy over there, he hating. And Ralph Angel stands up and he's like, listen, I understand that you've been trying, but it's not enough. Everybody gotta do. And he has a point. I mean, he's right. But to be served this eviction notice, I can understand the rage of the community, because they don't have 9-to-5s. Their farms are their lifestyle and their way of living. So to just be like, here's a notice, we're gonna build on this land, it's like, we need to do something. So I'm like, I would be stressed if I was a farmer, because not only do you have to worry about weather, critters, competition, now you got to worry about like the fact that they trying to come through and like update. Okay, so they're before the judge, and it's Nova, Charlie, Parker, and some other lawyer, and they're talking about, you know, they're trying to get this highway not to be built, right? And so they're going back and forth, and Parker's like, you know, we gave them enough notice, blah, blah, blah. And Charlie's like, I was voted in so that I could stop this. And it ends up being that, you know, the judge is like, nah, I need more time, decides in the favor of Charlie, because they feel like they need more time to fully research and do all these things. Parker catches them out in the hallway, and she like, maybe we can come together and agree on something. And we like, nah, sis, there's nothing that we could agree on, because you fighting against our people. Like you working for the wrong side. We find out later, because Charlie does allow her to come down to the mill, like, let me show you like why we fighting so hard, because this is what they did. But it's like a Booker T. Washington conversation versus W.E.B. Du Bois. And you know, if you know that specific story, because we saw a little bit of it in that Madam C.J. Walker movie. It was like Booker T. Washington, I guess, was trying to be more of like a naturalist, I guess, and was into like the farmers and like all of that part. And W.E. Du Bois was like trying to elevate everyone and take us like maybe to a new way of thinking. I don't know. I guess that was the comparison. But it just kind of was interesting to see these two black women. Like, it shows you how black people are not a monolith, because Parker's like swearing up and down that she's fighting for the betterment of our people, like us black people. But it's like, sis, like, Charlie's feeling like if you're not on my side, then you're not fighting for our people. So it just kind of made me look at Parker and be like, you're fighting for infrastructure, but you're not listening to what the people really want. On one hand, she feel like the people don't know what they want because they haven't seen like the benefits of moving towards this. Charlie feels like, I know what the people want because this is family, this is community, this is, you know, what our city's all about. Why ruin that, right? So it is a battle of like, not the classes, but just like one wanting to improve in a way of like infrastructure, and the other wanting to improve in a way of like, black people need to own all the businesses and have all the farmers and like really dominate this city. And we don't have to do that by adding machinery and robots type of thing. Okay, so Parker is relentless. We gonna see how this gonna go, because Charlie does not give up, and we find out later on that Parker's up to some other stuff behind the scenes. But let me hop back to Prosper, Ra, and Hollywood. They are painting because Hollywood has opened this new spot that's gonna be a hangout for men, to just talk through their stuff, like a mental health type of thing. And a part of me was like, okay, cool, this will be good. But I'm kind of thinking like, where is this gonna go? Like, is it gonna be a cigar bar? Because men don't just sit around and talk about their feelings. Like, is it gonna be more of like a boys to men type of outreach type thing, where like men are mentoring younger men, like you have like pool tables and you have like basketball courts? Is it gonna be like a bar? Is it gonna turn into a strip club? I don't know. But you know, a lot of times like men are not like women. Men can't just sit up in a circle and just talk. Like, they need like a thing. They need like a game is on, or like something, you know, something. Women can just have a charcuterie board and a good wine and we're good to go. But anyway, it was good to see Prosper, because I was like, oh, look at Prosper trying to get his muscles on. So yeah, they're painting their place, and Ra is like, he got to get home to Blue. Okay, we also see that Calvin and Nova are getting used to living together. Since she's cut the dreads off, she's still talking about this silk pillowcase. He eating on the silk pillowcase. I'm like, I'm really shocked that they still together. I know that she brought him to the little, what do you call it? The little party, you know, when they're watching the ballots to see if Charlie was gonna win. I know that she brought him to that. I got like a piece of hair. But I'm still like, he's white, number one. So she's not like a person that's just like, just so happens to be black. Like, she's very vocal, very like in the public eye, like about black rights and police brutality, all of that. So for her to be with this cop that she was with when he was married, like was cheating with him, and then, you know, he's this white cop, and even with like the current climate of the world, I'm just like, girl, it's always gonna be a battle. Like, every conversation, we seen that at the launch. Like, he's sitting there talking to her friends, and he's talking about it's all good in the hood. I'm just like, it's a lot. Like, you're doing a lot. But they grilling him like, you was a cop, but how we know that you was a good cop? And then even if you was a good cop, is that an oxymoron? Because you was just sitting around while other stuff was happening, but then you are only one person. Like, I was like, I don't know. We already seen problems when he was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to bring you home to meet my grandpa, because the grandpa is clearly racist. But then on top of that, you cheated with this woman. Like, it seemed like Nova just forgetting that, like, oh, you don't want to take me home because they gonna realize you with a Nubian woman. Like, no, sis, you broke up his whole family. So we gonna see. We gonna see about them. We is sure gonna see. Ralph Angel is saying grace, and he does not give Darla a title within the within the prayer. What I like about this episode though is we didn't have too many complaints for too long, because he did propose by the end of the episode. He had all the right words. They were extremely heartfelt. But y'all know Ralph Angel's a very sensitive being. So to see him now being able to express himself and say the words and say the things, I was like, okay, Ralph Angel, you was on the right track. But I was about to be mad if he hadn't proposed by the end of the episode, because I'm like, what is y'all doing? What are we doing? What are we calling this? Because y'all already established y'all in love, y'all back together, y'all confusing y'all son. Just call the thing a thing, go on and lock it back in. So I was proud of them for that. So let me get back to the way this episode ended, with Parker Campbell coming through the event. So they had the little event to celebrate St. Josephine, and it looked like they had pictures at each table for like maybe the head of that household. I don't know, because Papa Bordelon was on that table. Everybody was dressed in different shades of purple. I was like, black people, we look good in the color scheme, okay? But yeah, so Parker got up on the stage, and I'm thinking like, how they didn't know about this. I guess she's the new head of like Beckington. What is this? Beckington Group, which is like over the credit union or something. I don't know. I missed all the little specific things. Whoever does the writing, I mean, it'd be spot on. But she's a new head, right? And she's making this announcement. And they're saying that, you know, she's been talking to the councilwoman, or talking to Charlie, and you know, she understands why the people are fighting so hard not to have this highway, and they've talked and they've agreed upon moving the highway, so because of the effect on everyone. And it turns out they want to move the highway right where the cemetery is at. And so she drops this bomb and she walks off the stage, and you know, Charlie has no clue what she's talking about, but now all the people are riled up. They're like, you gonna build this highway through this cemetery where I got 4 generations of family buried? And it's just like, it's that other sense of community that I'm just like, you never think about these type of things, because like I said, as a military, an army brat or military brat, or somebody who's in the military, you move all around. And so you claim certain parts of each city, or wherever you're at longest, or where you're at when you experience certain things in your life. But there isn't one town that you're just so tied to, unless it's like your hometown. And most people are trying to leave that, right? So to see this community like so riled up about like their cemetery, but they have generations of their family buried, or like certain mom and pop shops, like it just brings you back to like what we should be doing and creating as a people, like the things that we should take pride in, the things that we should relish in and understand to not take for granted. So the show definitely teaches me a whole lot. But anyway, so Charlie is upset. Aunt Vi drops the hammer. She's like, give her a minute. Because the people is rushing up on her like, what is happening? What we gonna do? How could you agree to this? Like, what's about to happen? And I'm thinking like, as a person, a part of this community, it would be hard for me to get an eviction notice one day, celebrate this city the next day, and then now here y'all moving the highway to, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So Parker Campbell, she's definitely not playing fair. She's definitely playing dirty, and I'm like, Lord, what else is gonna go on? Oh, I forgot to tell you about Micah. Micah was being very like irresponsive in the beginning of the episode, and I already knew, like, he decided to go to Xavier instead of Harvard. Remember, that was a huge slap in the face, because of how much his mom had sacrificed. But it is a testament to being like, I don't remember what I said last season, but I do feel like when people like become grown, like, that's why, I mean, as parents, it's like you put so much into these children, and then when they become grown, they make a decision that you have not prepped them for, that you were not expecting. That's why it'd be such a letdown, because you have sacrificed so much, right? Whole nother story. But anyway, he has pledged, he's crossing, and I knew by his behavior that's what was going on, and I almost could have written this myself. I knew that he would. But I was just like, do y'all really not tell y'all parents when y'all doing this? Like, they really be expecting y'all not to tell y'all parents? Or check in with y'all parents? I don't know. Like, I have the type of mom that would have popped up like, what is going on? You ain't answered a call. I'm sending a search party. You know, like, I don't know. I'm not a part of a sorority, so I don't know. But anyway, I am interested to see how long Ralph Angel and Darla are going to stay happy. And are they going to have a wedding? Are they just going to stay engaged and have all these problems and realize they shouldn't be together? Vi and Hollywood, I seen Hollywood crying. Like, I do see that they are going to cover the pandemic and it is going to be involved in the writing. I just hope that it doesn't get cheesy. Like, I like that it touches home, it hits home, but I don't want it to be too on the nose. So we're going to see. I trust these writers though. Anyway, you guys let me know You guys let me know what you thought about this week's episode. The show is back. I'm Cameron. Please continue to pray for us down here in Texas, because even Dallas is getting it bad. Abilene, where I was stationed at before, like North Texas, West Texas, South, everybody's getting it bad. So just continue to pray for us. Reach out to different people that you follow or different people that you know, family that live in Texas. Just check on your people, because it's rough. Okay, it's rough. Anyway, I put on a happy face. Y'all like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.